6 years ago on Krypton, young Kal-El defies tradition during a classroom evaluation, proudly presenting work he created independently, rejecting the Luminarium's generative archive. His teacher, surprised, questions his choice, but Kal remains resolute in his individuality. The scene shifts to present-day Brazil, where chaos unfolds. A Lazarus Corps officer commands Kal-El to kneel, her weapon crackling with energy. Despite the destruction around them, Kal stands resolute, his calm defiance unwavering. As a voice urges him to flee, he instead acts decisively, disarming and de-escalating the situation. Kal-El struggles against the unrelenting cuffs, demanding, "What are these cuffs made of?" The officer seizes the moment, firing a sharp electric blast that surges through his body, amplifying his weakened state. His reactive suit flares to life, energy crawling up her free arm. Alarmed, she shouts, "Target suit is reactive, it's crawling up my arm." Kal, steady despite the chaos, firmly states, "Just don't hurt her." The Lazarus Corps soldiers close in, weapons trained, shouting, "Freeze! In the name of Lazarus!" Kal holds his ground, preparing for the inevitable clash. The Lazarus Corps soldiers open fire, shouting to light him up. Kal-El, restrained by energy-draining cuffs, becomes the glowing focus of their assault. Electrified rounds crackle through the air, slamming into both him and Lane. Overwhelmed by the relentless barrage, the two brace together, their fates intertwined amidst the chaos. "Let me go! Get this thing off me!" Lane demands, struggling against the cuffs. Kal shoots her a sharp look. "Did she forget she cuffed me?" he mutters. Soul analyzes the restraints. "This metal reforms as fast as I can sever it. This will take time." Frustrated, Lane fires her taser, jolting Kal. He winces, snapping, "Stop doing that! You're making it hard to save your life." With no progress, Kal orders Soul to use the dust to hold her. Lane, desperate, locks eyes with him. "Talk to me! I'm the only one who can help you." Her plea hangs as Kal braces himself. Kal-El surges skyward, his suit gleaming as Lane, bound by the cuffs, is dragged along in shock. His cape, the dust, stabilizes her mid-flight despite her protests. Stunned soldiers below scramble as a voice from a helicopter crackles. Target is airborne. Permission to engage. Tanks and rotors lock onto their moving target. From the control center, directives are clear. The target must be captured intact. Chem rounds, level 11. Peacemaker coldly authorizes despite Lane's precarious position. The explosive canisters fire, cutting through the air with chilling precision. As the rounds strike, they detonate violently with a deafening boom, engulfing Kal-El and Lane in a maelstrom of fire and force. The dust, his Kryptonian cape, reacts instantly, wrapping around them in a protective cocoon, shielding them from the brunt of the inferno. The sheer force of the blast sends them hurtling downward, smoke and debris trailing as they spiral uncontrollably towards the ground, chaos consuming the sky. Kal-El rises amidst the smoldering wreckage, his dust-cloaked form unyielding. As Lane stirs in his grasp, she quickly draws her blaster, firing a jolt of electricity into him. The energy courses through Kal, his jaw tightening as his body absorbs the impact. Lane seizes the moment, activating her comm device, her voice sharp. "This is Agent Lane. Suspect leaped due east, approximately 8 miles to the town of..." Before she can finish, Kal commands, "Jammer transmission." Soul's reply is immediate and cold. Already done. Kal-El, his anger barely restrained, confronts Lane. "I've saved your life multiple times, and this is how you repay me?" Lane counters, accusing him of endangering others. As tensions rise, Soul warns Kal, "Stop talking now." But he ignores it, focused on Lane's challenges to his identity and strength. Their argument halts as a sudden boom shakes the ground, cutting through the chaos. Kal-El steps forward, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Everyone, get out of the streets!" Spotting an overturned car, he swiftly lifts it and hurls it at an advancing tank. "Do you see? This is what Lazarus thinks of us!" he yells, fury driving his every move. The car slams into the tank, causing it to erupt into flames. The machine collapses, sending smoke and debris into the sky. Kal-El flies towards the fiery wreckage, his cape the dust shielding Lane as they approach the smoking remains of the crash. "The sunstone dust will shield you. Just go," he says, focused and unwavering. On the ground, Cal clears debris to free trapped civilians, while Lane, shaken but resolute, helps guide survivors, including a wide-eyed child clutching her hand. An ominous report highlights the armor's sentience and incredible capabilities, though its true nature remains uncertain. Lane watches Cal amidst the flames, his imposing figure leaving her with a heavy sense of awe and unease. Amid the wreckage, Kal-El shields survivors with his cape, the red dust deflecting debris and protecting the vulnerable. Lane observes, realizing it isn't the suit. He's super on his own. His immense yet unfamiliar strength shines alongside his humanity as he stabilizes a collapsing bell tower and ensures no one is left behind. Standing among the survivors, the dust encircles the group like a protective embrace. Amid the chaos, Kal-El tends to the wounded, his cape, the dust of Krypton, calming and healing those it touches. "It's okay. Don't be afraid," he says, steady and sincere. Lane watches, noting his seamless shift from gentle to commanding, his authenticity undeniable. Her reports reflects his contradictions. A worldly traveler with the soul of a lost child, carrying mistrust of authority yet acting with unshakable resolve. Despite every effort, Lane realizes coercion was futile. Kal-El's strength and the dust's power ensured he was beyond reach. Kal-El tends to a child, his demeanor calm yet commanding, while Lane watches, quietly reflecting on his enigmatic nature. Her private thoughts drift to subtle, human details as she tries to process the moment. As Cal muses aloud about the stars and the preciousness of places like Svalbard, his words hint at a deeper connection to his lost home. Lane listens but struggles to grasp his meaning, her curiosity piqued but unanswered. In a quiet act of resolve, Cal's cape dissolves the cuffs binding them, severing the last physical link between them. Kal-El turns from Lane, his expression firm, the glow of his suit pulsing with resolve. As she reaches out, her voice hesitant. "Wait, don't. Just let me." He propels skyward, a red streak of dust marking his ascent as the ground cracks beneath him. Lane stares after him, her hand dropping as helicopters and Lazarus tanks close in. A voice on her comm demands, "You were alone with the subject. What is your frank and honest appraisal of Superman?" She stands amidst the wreckage, her thoughts heavy, the question unanswered. Lane faces the Brainiac system's relentless questioning about Superman's threat level. Though she defends him, the system coldly labels him an 8 and recommends termination. Frustrated, Lane punches the console, her protest dismissed. As she's sent away, she quietly defies. No, resolute in her stance. Lane hesitates to leave, insisting she needs to write the report herself, despite her known disdain for paperwork. "This one feels different," she admits, recounting the profound experience of flying with Superman and holding the dust of Krypton in her hands. Her colleague, baffled but supportive, remarks, "Good luck to you." Lane sits down, determined, and begins typing her thoughts, her resolve clear. On Krypton, young Kal-El and Krypto dash through darkened halls during a power outage. Nearby, Jor-El and Lara examine a glowing sunstone prototype. "I built it at 12, Jor-El explains confidently. Lara, skeptical, notes it's untested and designed for a child. Jor-El remains resolute, seeing it as a critical step forward despite its limitations. Jor-El resolves to mine the sunstone himself, preparing for the worst. Lara doubts the clerics will listen or act in time, but Jor-El is determined. If they refuse, he'll take what's needed to build a ship big enough for those they care about. Together, they pledge to protect their people, holding on to hope. Elsewhere, young Kal-El plays with Krypto, unaware of the gravity of their plans. Kal-El walks alone under the night sky, his hood pulled up as he approaches a sign graffitied with a chilling message. Lazarus means death. His journey carries him towards Venezuela, a quiet determination etched into his posture. Meanwhile, Lane sits in front of her monitor, the glow illuminating her face. A rare, fleeting smile crosses her lips. "Damn, that actually felt good," she mutters. Her screen displays the final touch to her report. Written by Lois Lane. The Lazarus soldiers regroup at the ruins of the earlier battle, haunted by the chaos. Injured and bitter, one mutters, "It was like being wrapped in tinfoil, locked in a microwave." Frustration turns to the cowering survivors as a soldier sneers that they know where he's hiding. "They don't get it," another growls. "Teach them that peace has a price," the leader commands, unleashing gunfire on the crowd. The scene closes with an ominous promise. Next, the last days of Krypton.